All right, this is our next episode of True Wrestling Fans Discussions. We're going to be reviewing Starrcade 1997. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank. Let's get into this, man. We got a lot to cover. There was such a big hype up for this
Oh
match.
yeah,
We're
oh yeah.
talking a year and a half
Hmm.
storyline from the time the NWO arrived to Starrcade '97. Now this is their WrestleMania, and they built up the story so big
And so good.
until the match took place.
Yeah, we'll get into
We'll
get
get
into
into that in
that.
a second.
But this was
Now,
real quick.
uh,
This is one of the greatest builds in the history of wrestling. I think
yes, it
in
is
terms
the
of build up to
longest
main
too.
event. Yeah, and it worked.
Yes,
It was perfect until the bell rang. All right,
until they had the match.
all right.
Okay. The slogan for the pay-per-view, because WCW has always got to do a slogan for it, was Hogan is a colorful guy, but his nightmares black and white, paybacks are hell. Okay. December 28, 1997, Washington, D.C. I love how Shivani was playing it to where there was 25,000 people in the crowd, yet the actual attendance was 17,500. You gotta love Shivani and his bullshit.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact, I don't know about you, but I've said this before in WCW pay-per-views. They don't care about the match that's going on in front of them. All night, regardless of the match, they're talking about Hogan and Sting. And I think,
Yeah.
honestly, I was getting annoyed at that.
I
Because,
I mean, I to be honest with you, I wasn't, just for the fact that we have been looking forward to this match for so long that I didn't mind. I understand what you're saying. It kind of takes away from what's actually going on in the ring at the moment and the
mhm,
other guys on the card because it's not fair to them. I get it. You don't want to be
yeah,
overshadowed.
exactly, yeah.
But at the same time, I was so invested in that storyline.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that was
everybody was, yeah.
and to be honest with you, that match, and we'll get into Kevin Nash versus the Giant that never happened. Those were the two matches that I was really looking forward to. Sting, of course, and Hogan was number one. But I wanted to see Nash finally take out the Giant, because he was the one true Giant.
Yeah.
So,
So here we go. The opening match was, of course, for the Cruiserweight title.
mhm.
And those guys never disappoint.
Oh no. Oh, you know what was cool too? The whole WCW was in attendance. The whole roster.
Yes.
They were in the
They
crowd.
I love how they were mixed in with the crowd, and several times you see the security guard going over to the regular to paid attendance crowd, going, "Yo, get away from them."
Yeah.
Because I know one guy was constantly hounding Booker T and Stevie Ray,
Yeah.
and then you see security guard go over to him. I don't think they
Yeah.
ejected him, but they
But
probably
that
told him to chill. But I
but that
thought
was
that was cool.
yeah, it was funny. But that was cool though, because it was, even if they weren't wrestling on the card, they were in attendance. Because that's how big this match was.
Yeah, this was
That's how he
WCW trying to
yeah.
overcome the NWO
Yeah.
for the first time
Yep.
since they in their existence.
Yep. And it was actually a cool, real quick, there was a cool intro. I liked the intro before the pay-per-view started with Sting. They showed Sting and they showed
Oh
Hollywood,
yeah,
and had that show was a very short clip, but I
oh
like
yeah.
the intro. Not as good as WWF intros, because I don't want to get sidetracked, but nobody did those cinematic intros better than WWF.
Still to this day, matter of
Yeah.
fact, that's the one good thing they're good at,
Hmm.
despite
Yeah.
a depleted roster.
Hmm.
So Eddie Guerrero put the cruiserweight title on the line against Iceman Dean Malenko,
Yeah.
and these two never disappointed.
No.
And I think my favorite match between the two of those had to be when they were departing ECW in 1995. Those two put on a clinic, and the
Hmm.
fans actually cheered, "Please don't go." And those were the two guys, were the only two guys that weren't hardcore for the ECW fans, yet they accepted them,
Hmm.
which was really, really cool. So they never disappointed in WCW, and this match didn't disappoint as well. They put on a clinic here, despite Tony Schiavone taking the attention away, talking about Hogan and Sting. A few times Dusty Rhodes tried to bring it back to this match,
Yeah.
but it eventually got overshadowed. Just under 15 minutes this match, and Guerrero got the victory and kept the championship. So this was a really good match. And remember, Guerrero came off, to my opinion, match of the year for
Oh
WCW
yeah.
back in Halloween Havoc with
Yeah.
Mysterio.
Yeah. The cruiserweights were always the glue to Nitro and to the pay-per-views.
The only problem with Bischoff was if you were in that division, you stayed in that division, and I
Pretty
didn't
much.
agree with
Yeah.
that.
It's a glass ceiling. Yeah.
Yeah. The next match, I tried not to fall asleep on. This was a six-man tag team match. This was WCW versus NWO.
Oh yeah,
It
this one,
was
dude. I was falling asleep with this one too when I was rewatching it. It's funny
This
that
was
you
really
say
bad.
that. I didn't
This was really
care. Like, I'm there, and I'm like,
yeah.
I
This
started to
was just
I
bad.
kind of like zoned out for a little while.
Hmm. Yeah, my son was so excited to watch this because Bret Hart, and then I look over and he's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, bro, I get it. It was the Steiner brothers with the new look Scott Steiner, so you knew something was going to happen here sooner or later.
Yeah.
The real tag team champions, not like Scott Hall and Ray Traylor, Mr. Constantly Regimmicked, versus Scott Norton, Vincent of all people, and it was supposed to be Conan, but they never explained why he didn't show up, so it wound up being Randy Savage.
Yeah, I don't know if he got injured. Something happened.
Something happened that they didn't let us know. But anyway, Savage came in, so I mean that kind of really saved the match because if it was Conan, nobody was really going to care.
You know what? I don't remember when Big Bubba Rogers he joined the NWO or he got kicked out of the NWO. I don't remember any of this.
Yeah, that was like a cup of coffee. Seriously.
So he must have just gotten kicked out, right?
Yeah, and then he re-gimmicked himself once again, which is like the 5th time.
Yeah.
So I mean, this match really wasn't nothing impressive. I mean, Vincent.
It's the filler. It was just the filler. Yeah.
Vincent wrestling was like, okay, you guys got nobody else in the NWO.
This is one of 2 Vincent appearances.
Yeah.
So he really earned his money that night.
Oh yeah, well, Mr. Head of Security for the NWO.
Yeah.
If that's your head of security, and I'm looking over and I see Buff Bagwell and I see Hall and Nash, and I'm like, this is your head of security? There's something wrong here. Any event, 11 minutes, 6 seconds, probably 10 minutes longer than this match actually had to go. Savage gets the pin, and the NWO wins this. And obviously, like I said before, Scott Steiner with the new look, the short hair, the steroids are in full effect.
Yeah, he just didn't have the blonde. He didn't have the blonde hair yet.
Yeah, not yet. That was coming because Steiner's breakup was on its way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Following this match, it either was before this match or after. I don't really remember. Is when Scott Hall came out and wearing the fake WCW tag title, doing the survey, which hadn't clicked yet. A couple of months later, that took off.
I used to love the survey, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. And so
down where? You know where?
Yeah, he did that. You know where.
This is great stuff.
Have y'all come here to see WCW?
Yeah.
This time it was a little more one-sided to WCW, but as he kept doing this, it leaned to the end.
Yeah. Eventually, yeah.
Now he's talking about how his boy Kevin Nash wasn't there to take out the Giant, and when Giant actually showed up, I love when Scott Hall did this when he would do the Frankenstein.
Yeah. It was funny. It was always funny when he did that.
This was actually a funny skit that they did, and I was actually looking forward to this match too to see who the one true Giant was.
I was hoping that Nash would have came out, like when I first watched
this, him from behind.
Yeah. You know what happened was, so apparently Nash he thought he was having some sort of a heart attack, maybe like a day or 2 before this happened, and he went to the hospital. And there was something, I don't know if there was something wrong with his circulation, oxygen, whatever. Something happened. That's why he wasn't at this pay-per-view, because he had some medical incident. He thought he had a minor heart attack. They were trying to figure out, they were running tests on him, trying to figure out. It was so disappointing, man, because man, that could have been a great match at Starrcade 97. We were all looking forward to seeing who the true Giant was. I always liked that beef they had between the two of them. Who was the real Giant? Even though, like, it was funny because obviously the Giant was bigger than Nash.
Yeah.
But in Nash's mind, he wasn't.
Yeah. And when they finally, correct my memory if I'm wrong, when they finally had this match, isn't that where he dropped him on his neck?
Yeah, the first time he dropped him on his head.
Yeah, and they banned the powerbomb temporarily.
That's when it became Big Sexy the Giant Killer.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, that definitely on Starrcade would have been a great match to have. But in any event, we got to see the Giant take out Scott Hall, which was
at least it was
not as good, but at least they filled the moment.
Yeah.
So the next match was god awful. It was Mongo McMichael versus Goldberg.
At least he put up a fight, though. At least he kind of put up a fight.
I mean, Goldberg was still sort of green at this moment because he's only a couple of months old.
Mm-hmm.
Mongo can't wrestle for shit. I'm sorry. The man screwed up several times in this.
He brought us Deborah, though, so we got to have some, respect for the guy,
Yeah. I mean, Goldberg still learning. He messed up a few times. The spear wasn't even that good.
He's a work in progress. He's still perfecting it.
A year later, we weren't saying this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was only a 5-minute, 59-second match, which is probably a record for Goldberg. He squashed Mongo, thank you, because I never liked Mongo as a wrestler. I don't even know why they bothered to invest their time and money into this clown, because he couldn't do it. Football, yes, he's phenomenal.
Was he one of the Horsemen?
No, yes. No. I think the dog would have wrestled a little better than him.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, my God.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, yeah, this was just a stink fest, bro. The next match was a little interesting because it had the Ravens rules. Raven had the contract where, every match had to be no disqualification. He opted out of the match, which was funny. So he put Perry Saturn in the match against Chris Benoit. And, I mean, Saturn actually showed what he could truly do in the ring. Of course, WWE never let him cut loose like that, which is why we never saw the good Perry Saturn.
I mean, they ruined Raven too. Not to
they did
get into that, but
oh yeah, they did.
I always liked Raven in WCW. I thought he was really good in WCW.
Oh yeah,
ECW obviously, but
yeah,
I thought that he was
the whole thing with the United States title between him, Benoit, DDP was great stuff. And Raven could wrestle. Obviously, if people don't remember, Scotty Flamingo several years back, cruiserweight wrestler, that was him.
Yeah.
So of course he goes to WWE. He's Johnny Polo, but
wasn't he? Yeah, that's right.
It's awful.
Oh Lord.
But in any event, it was a 10-minute, 50-second match. Perry Saturn gets the win over Benoit, which was kind of a shock because I really thought this was going to go the other way. But since I'm not a Benoit lover, I really don't care.
Well, now, now.
Now, yeah. Back then, I really liked the guy. I thought he had tons of talent. He could definitely be a main eventer, but Bischoff and, of course, the Booker Kelvin Sullivan didn't see it that way. So, whatever. Our next match was I liked it because I loved Buff Bagwell when he used to do that stuff.
Buff Daddy. Yeah. I love Buff Bagwell, man.
At this time, I think I was at the Blockbuster on 7th Avenue at the time in Brooklyn, and we had a guy working with us that he mimicked him so perfect. He would come in to work his shift, and he would do that strut.
Yeah. And I'm the stuff, yeah. I love Buff, man. He was great.
It was awesome, man. Yeah. And Buff Bagwell facing Lex Luger, who would eventually, later on, they put the two together, which is a good tag team. But, this match wasn't bad because they were talking about how Lex Luger early in the year was world champion.
And this guy was undefeated against him. Buff Bagwell was I guess on like technicalities or whatever. He was undefeated against him.
Yeah, he's like, how many times I got
like 2-0, right?
He goes, I lost count. He goes, how many times? We're going to do this one more time. Yeah. And he did it one more time. But Vincent came back down because, Vincent needed that money. And whatnot. Remember, head of security. You got 2 7-foot guys there, but he's your head of security. What's wrong with this picture? And so he helped Buff Bagwell beat Lex Luger, which I was really looking for a straight one-on-one match because these two guys could pull it off. I mean, despite what you want to think about Bagwell, he was really a good wrestler.
He wasn't bad.
The backstage BS with him, and we'll get into that, later on. The next match, I enjoyed this match. I actually was awake for this one. For the United States Championship, it was Kurt Hennig defending the title against Diamond Dallas Page.
DDP.
And it was supposed to be Ric Flair in this match. Thank God it wasn't. And I didn't really appreciate the fact that WCW had pushed him to the mid and lower card, especially fighting for the U.S. title. I mean, this was the guy, one of the backbones of your company. And you you bring in a few WWE guys, and you're immediately dropping him back.
Bischoff hated him, but
they hated each other.
This is DDP's on the rise.
This is his breakout moment.
Yeah,
because he won the title for the first time, his first major championship, and I love how he did it. He countered the move. He put the diamond cutter on perfect. I'm sorry, Hennig, and he
out of nowhere.
Yeah, out of
nowhere.
This is
before out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. DDP, you could say, invented that.
He's
he
the
literally
one.
would get the diamond cutter out
he
of
could,
nowhere.
He could. It was so cool that watching him was so cool back then because it was like you never knew when it was coming. He had like I don't know how many ways to get that diamond cutter on you, and when it happened, diamond cutter was over, man.
I mean, I think there was 7 different times over his career, over that 4-year span from 97 to 01, that he would reverse a move that you didn't think he could do it, and then he would put the diamond cutter on you.
Yep.
And I mean, give the guy a lot of credit. He's at like 35, 36 years old now, 37 maybe.
He might have been older. Yeah, he was close to 40 at that point because he had been wrestling for a couple of years.
Yeah, and he now is breaking out and winning his first title. So I mean, give the guy all the credit in the world. He busted his butt for them. They lost the rights to that.
I know.
The original, it was the Nirvana song, and I used to love it when he come out to that.
This pay-per-view has that problem too.
Mm-hmm.
Hogan doesn't come out to Voodoo Child.
No, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But if you saw the original, you know what they came out to.
Yeah.
So our next matchup, and I did not agree with how you bring this man into WCW. It was Larry Zbyszko versus Eric Bischoff.
The living legend, Larry Zbyszko.
in his mind. For the rights of Monday Nitro on the line. Yeah. Special guest referee Bret the Hitman Hart. What are you doing? Why is this man not wrestling on the card?
It's a terrible way for him to have his first, I guess, pay-per-view match, sort of, him being involved in.
Yeah.
No.
You're a month, literally a month and 5 days, month and a week, whatever, out of Montreal Screwjob. You've already brought him in. Why the fact that he's not wrestling on this? I have no idea. And so for his first pay-per-view, his appearance, you make him a referee. No.
We got into this in the Bret Hart episode, but yeah, it's just
you do this to Jim Duggan, you do this to anybody else, but a 4 and 5-time champion, you got the last big free agent on the market to sign with you, and this is what you do with him. It's
bad. I did like Bischoff though. I always like Bischoff as a heel.
He's cocky.
He was such a troll. He was such a troll, man. He came out the karate gloves and the
you see when Scott Hall puts the foreign object in there
at the end.
First of all, when he kicked Zbyszko, it already flew out.
It flew out before he connected.
Yeah, and then he hits him with it, and Zbyszko just falls down. I'm like,
but it was kind of a fun match to watch. Bret, they made you believe that Bret was favoring Bischoff
a little,
because he would break the holds and say, "Oh, you're choking him," to Zbyszko, obviously. So they wanted to make you think that he was on.
Oh yeah, because Bischoff's trying to high five Bret and he's laughing with him and all that.
But then after he sees the foreign object go flying, and I'm curious if it didn't fly out, what were they gonna do? Was Bret gonna check his foot? Like, hey, how did you knock him out with that kick? I don't know. I'm curious because
I don't know.
But either way, Bret hits him, right? Bret hits him. Scott Hall comes out. Then Bret and Scott Hall go at it.
It was fun to see them lock up a little bit.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool flashbacks to Razor Ramon versus Bret and WWF. Put him in the sharpshooter.
Mm-hmm. And then Zbyszko gets the victory. Nitro is saved.
Yeah.
And
Nitro saved.
That actually leads to another match because remember, Zbyszko wins. He gets Scott Hall. That's sold out.
Yes.
And then Scott Hall is also waiting on the winner of the main event because he won World War III.
Right.
Which was a crap fest in itself, that match. So now we get to the main event.
Yeah. Well, let's go back a second because earlier in the night, remember they say, "Oh, we're gonna." I think was it JJ Dillon? Was it JJ Dillon?
Oh yeah, they were gonna pick the referee out of a hat. Yeah,
out of a hat.
And we already knew. I saw this live. I already knew. Knew who was going to be Nick Patrick.
Let me give you a little backstory because I did a lot of research on this nonsense that happened.
Go for it.
That was like a last minute thing.
What, the drawing of the ref?
The whole drawing of the ref was kind of like a last minute thing that they threw in there. And they came up with that because, according to Bischoff, Sting showed up. He didn't have a tan. He was very lethargic. He had no energy. And that's when they decided, originally it was supposed to be Sting going over on Hogan clean.
Which is what it should have been.
No referee shenanigans. Nothing. Sting beats him clean. But then Bischoff said, when that happened, when he saw the condition that Sting was in, whatever it was, his personal problems, and his head wasn't in the game, they had to figure something out at the last minute, and they decided, we'll have, what was the referee's name again?
Nick Patrick.
We'll have Nick Patrick, and then we'll get into the match. We'll have Bret Hart show up, and we're going to do a controversy thing, and then we're going to strip Sting of the belt. So let's get in.
Why would that be a good idea after hyping this up so big?
No, it makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Him getting over clean on Hogan should have been the finale. Should have been it. Yeah. That's how they should have done it.
Yeah.
No, let's mess this up. Let's have a crap fest in the ring. All these fans are all hyped up to see this. Now, granted, Sting hasn't been in the ring in a year and a half. For whatever reason, they never specified why. If they purposely kept him out or if there was an injury. They never said.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, it was like we said in the beginning of
the build-up was great.
The build-up was tremendous. It was great. I think Sting hadn't said anything. I don't remember the last time Sting said a word. I don't remember.
When he walked out.
Was it when he walked out? He never said anything else after that, right?
Nope. Okay. He would just talk with the bat.
With the bat, and he would be in the rafters, come down. It was just great. Even his entrance was awesome. Where they had the monologue with the girl talking, and then they showed like the scorpion.
Yes.
Like the lights with the scorpion.
The theme music was
music
awesome.
With you hear the thunder. Then you see Sting walking slowly. You know, I mean, Bischoff said something about Sting. You could see even in Sting's entrance, he had no energy. But I thought that was the character he was playing.
That exactly. He wasn't
He
supposed
was
to
like
move fast.
emotionless, yeah, slow, methodical, emotionless. But I will say that when the bell rang, that match wasn't good, man.
No,
Like there was no energy. Like Hogan looked like, listen, to Hogan's credit, Hogan looked like he was ready.
he was, but
Hogan
Sting wasn't.
But Sting did.
He was about a step or two shy.
You know what? He did seem. Yeah, he did seem. Once the match started, I don't know. It was weird. The energy was low. I think Sting looked a little bit smaller.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was that he was smaller or the tan made him look smaller. Either way, I'm saying him not having the tan on his arms, it made him look smaller. Either way, yeah, something was off, but they should have just had him go over clean. The hell with it. You have to. You can't change course at the last second like that. And
No.
this is what I think.
Not in this match.
No, and this is what I think happened. Listening to all the different versions of this, it was Hogan playing politics because Sting said he was supposed to go over, and he says, "Oh, at the last minute, this politics." He didn't. Sting's very political for whatever reason. He doesn't really get into detail. He just says, "Oh, some politics happened last minute," and he's like, "What's going on?" But he never wants to really get into it. He always changes the subject when people ask him. And this is what I gather was that it was Hogan playing politics, and Hogan didn't want to lose clean because Hogan wanted to fight him again, and Hogan didn't want to look weak.
But they could have fought him again the following month. It sold out.
Yeah, but Hogan wanted to. They could have, and then they end up they have the rematch at Nitro or something, right?
Of course, on Nitro, yeah.
Whatever. I forget. Forgive me, but yeah, it becomes this mess where he was supposed. Again, this is a last minute thing. They decided, we're gonna have Bret Hart come out. It's gonna be a fast count, and then Bret Hart is gonna say, "No, this is not gonna happen again" because he got screwed. But what happens is Hogan beats him clean. 1, 2, 3. It's not a fast count.
No, he won the match,
and then Bret Hart still grabs the thing, the thing to ring the bell for the timekeeper.
Which is now I can see where they go. Okay, we're stripping the belt.
Yes,
because this happens, and Bret said no. You're not going to win. He pulls the timekeeper hammer away, and now all of a sudden you see Life and Sting. You see Life and Sting,
but you can tell the crowd is confused.
Yeah, it's like what are we doing here?
And when I saw this live, I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, he beat him, and then you see Sting do the splash. He put so much into it. Bret Hart threw him back. Remember, Bret Hart grabs
Hogan back in the ring
and throws him back in the ring.
Mm-hmm. And then Sting hits the 2 Stinger splashes. And Bret Hart grants it. Sting wins the title. Everybody comes into the ring, and I'm like, wait a minute. Even live, I watched this. I'm like, wait a minute.
I didn't know what was going on. And I heard a short clip of Nick Patrick. Nick Patrick doesn't mention names. He just says one person. And then I was looking for who was in charge. Let's put everything together. He's referring to Hogan. He's referring to Sting, and he's referring to Eric Bischoff. So this is what his version is, that Sting told him to do the fast count, and Hogan said do a regular count, and then he didn't know what to do, and he was looking for Bischoff all day, and Bischoff was hiding from him because Bischoff didn't want to get involved in this mess.
Oh my god!
I don't know.
He should be in the middle of all of this trying to get this right.
Right, dude. I think it was Hogan. I think it was Hogan playing politics. That's what makes the most sense to me.
Well, look at it like this: Hogan wanted a regular count, and that was a regular count. Nick Patrick did not count fast.
Yeah. So and it looks like he won, and it looks like Hogan won, and Hogan won. Bret basically screwed him. Bret screwed him. I don't know. Made no sense because then they didn't even go anywhere with Bret and Hogan. Bret and Hogan goes nowhere. So
they never had a match.
Throwing Bret in there at the Bret. So like I said, Bret wasn't even supposed to be involved in this until the last second. He was only supposed to be with the Bischoff thing. He wasn't even supposed to be involved in this match, and they threw him in there. And here's another thing. I don't know if you caught this. For some reason, Sting says something in Spanish, and he says "mamacita."
Yeah, I saw that.
His first words in a year and a half is "mamacita," and I'm like,
"What the hell was that?" And even the commentators were like, "Is he speaking Spanish?" Like, what was all that?
I don't know if he was talking.
Unless it was a shout out for somebody watching at home.
I think maybe the luchadors were close to him, and maybe they had some in jokers. I don't know. That was very awkward. The fact that his first words are in Spanish, and you don't even understand the reference, like why he would even say that.
Yeah.
You talk about a clusterfuck?
Somebody at home.
And a dumpster fire?
Yeah,
Well, you
it
talk
was.
about a mess. And now let's get into this. We spoke about this before. This is one of the few WCW pay-per-views I paid for. I had my friends over. Remember, we ordered Domino's pizza.
I left work early and had
Yeah,
somebody cover me
yeah.
so I could go see it. And then I was like, I'm going back to work.
I was so hyped up to see this match. And this was one of the biggest matches in the history of not only WCW, probably professional wrestling, period.
Yes. It's definitely up there, yes.
And they shot the bed.
Literally.
They shot the bed.
This, I mean, we've said what started the demise of WCW as far as nails in the coffin. This can definitely.
This might be the beginning of the end. Yeah, we didn't know it.
Start.
We didn't know it at the time.
No, because we just saw that this is how WCW operates. And everything ends like this. Titles are vacant.
Yeah,
NWO gets over.
Dude, all you had to do was have like a 10-minute match. Stinger splash, Scorpion deathlock, Hogan taps. That's it.
Clean victory. Sting is the champion, which is what it should have been.
The other thing that didn't kind of make sense was that you would have figured the NWO would have came out in full force. Like,
that's the other thing that I was curious. Like, why didn't they come down?
Right. They
just Scott Hall.
They should have either had NWO banned from ringside or in a steel cage match or something to keep. So it would have made more sense as far as the story, because NWO always like. They always cheated. They always got involved. They always did.
That's how every Nitro ended. 30 guys from the NWO show up in the ring to beat down Luger and all of them, and then here comes Sting from the Raptors. We got to go. You know, that was their thing for like 16 weeks. Sting would come down from the rafters. Nitro would end that way. Yeah, everything was a disqualification or no contest.
This was just.
This was the one match that they had to go over clean. The WCW won. And then going forward to Sold Out, if you want to put the belt back on Hogan and Hogan beats Sting, fine, whatever you want to do. But this match had to go clean to Sting.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense too. Bischoff says, "Oh, I could tell. We were going to put the company with Sting. We were going to go in a different direction, and then Sting wasn't in shape and everything. His head wasn't in the game. Okay, why'd you put the belt on him a month later then?
Exactly.
You strip him and then you put the belt right back on him. So a month later he was ready.
I don't know.
Make no sense. Anyway."
This was their WrestleMania, and they just destroyed it.
And
this wasn't the first time at Starrcade. Remember, a year later, they did the same damn thing.
Yeah, they don't learn from their mistakes.
They never did.
But all right, well, that's you guys. Let us know what you think about Starrcade '97 and this Sting and Hogan feud,
especially how they brought in Bret Hart for the first time on pay-per-view. Yeah. Tell us if you think he should have had a match or if this was the right move.
Yeah,
I don't think it was.
Not at all. All right, like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care.